Balancing creativity with user experience fundamentals and best practice is probably one of the hardest battles within any B2B website project. You know, B2B websites should, of course, be creative. You know, we should enjoy creating them, and we should enjoy visiting them, and we want them to be memorable, and we want them to be unique to us. And creativity is required to create a website that conveys unique positioning, a unique value proposition, engages visitors, and provides a positive experience when visiting them. Creativity and the desire to be different, or the desire to be incredibly unique when creating your website, can lead businesses to run into trouble when it comes to providing the user experience that's best for their results. You know, we talk about user experience a lot, and it's not because it's a nice to have. It's because if you follow user experience principles that are proven, tested by research groups, by marketers, by probably your own business if you look at the data, they are the things that are best when it comes to performance. And by performance, we mean generating high quality, high intent conversions from your website. User experience shows us how to create a website that is intuitive for a buyer to navigate and operate, a website that's effective for them to consume the content on, travel through, take action on ultimately, a website that prioritizes the right things and gets messages across in the right order so that a visitor's visit is a successful one. Creativity, if you're not careful, can disrupt your application of all of those things, and while that might create a website that satisfies an individual's wants or desires for it, it can do real harm in terms of the performance and the end result. So what are some examples of, where you need to strike the balance? Well, none are more important than the homepage, in which I include the navigational design, because let's face it, it's on every page, but the homepage is where you think about how it looks, the hero section, the value proposition and how it's communicated. These areas are classics for creativity running amok and getting in the way of clear, concise, compelling communication, the 4 C's. If you give in to the desire to be creative, then you might approve or write a homepage headline message, which means nothing. That means absolutely nothing to the visitor and conveys no value or meaning about what you offer, what problem you solve, who you solve it for, and why the right visitor should stay on your website and go on a journey and learn more about it. You'll end up with a strapline or a clever collection of buzzwords that, again, while they might satisfy some stakeholders, won't get buyers to stay on your website, and take those all critical conversion actions at the end of the journey. They'll simply see meaningless words and bounce off and go and look for something else. Creativity might lead you to put style ahead of substance when it comes to navigation. You might think that horizontal navigation that's on every website is boring. So let's do a burger menu on our desktop resolution, or let's do a vertical menu that pops out of the left-hand side. Very creative, very unique, but ultimately disastrous for results and performance. Buyers want and expect an intuitive experience that's familiar to them. They don't want to spend any time at all working out how to use your website when it could be easy and intuitive, instinctive for them instead. And when it comes to things like burger menus on desktop and slide out menus, anything that hides critical links behind additional clicks is counterproductive. You want the key things that you want buyers to see and find to be visible to them immediately and at all times, and putting those behind unnecessary additional clicks will simply reduce the frequency with which they're found and used and your end result. Creativity can also go too far when it comes to the design of your pages, the use of images, and the use of animation. For example, in many cases, the best visual to show a visitor is a product shot. It's a screenshot, it's a dashboard, it's a report, it's a physical product. They want to see what they're going to buy. But creative application can at times make us forget that and result in us putting abstract content and images forward instead of specific and instantly understandable content. So, using imagery that may speak to your values, those mountain climbers, those pilots, those weightlifters, those, other scenes, may create a nice mood, they may create a nice feeling, but they aren't the product that the buyer is there to consider, and therefore, at the very least, need to be used in conjunction with those product shots and the specific images that convey your offering, its use, its value to them. Animation is another area where creativity can go too far. A little bit of animation can be good. Animation can be used to improve the user experience and make the visit more intuitive and more familiar. But anything that moves distracts the human eye, distracts the human brain. And so for the most part, overdoing animation is going to be counterproductive in terms of your results. Things that move unnecessarily without adding value are distracting attention away from core messages that you want buyers to read, from screenshots that you want people to understand. Everything that's moving is a constant distraction from all of those things and really harms your buyer's ability to concentrate, focus on what it is you are trying to tell them, and that can really impair their experience and result in fewer conversions at the bottom of the funnel as well. I'm a big fan of creativity. Unique brands, their application, websites that are beautiful to look at, memorable, are what we're all about. And I think it's important to use creativity within your website, absolutely. But you need to balance that creativity with the application of user experience best practices if you want your creative website to produce the level of the amount of pipeline that it should for you. And if you do balance, you'll get better results than if you let creativity run amok. Creating an effective B2B website that combines creativity with strategy and user experience is a team sport, right? You can't do it alone. So at Blend, we make sure that every project is supported by not only creative content and design experts, but by members of our strategy team as well. And those experts work together on things like the information architecture, the sitemap, and then wireframes to ensure that user experience requirements for any particular offering or brand are built into the creative solution that we ultimately deliver. So by putting those two resources, those two knowledge sets together, we ensure that the end result is one that's both memorable and unique to the brand, but also effective at driving pipeline.